Just a matter of comparison, we're going to see how fast the Yamaha 3 horsepower pushes the Scamp compared to the ePropulsion Spirit Evo flat out. So you're going to go flat out, Richard, on the count of 3?
Like a lizard.
All right. Hey, is that outboard on fire? It's a lot of smoke coming out of it.
I like to leave a bit of a smoke trail.
There's also a little bit of oil dripping out of the back.
Oh,
is that normal?
I've had it serviced for that.
We're going on the count of
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Flat out. We noticed a little dinghy down at the yacht club. Upon inspection, we found out that it was a Reg Fazackerly built boat. And the Fazackerly dinghies are quite sought after, very rare, beautifully made boats built down at Battery Point. We had a chat to the owner and he gave us the opportunity to become the new custodians for this dinghy. Joe and I are on our way now to collect the boat and take it back to our workshop to start some restoration. There she is. Zach, 1968 Fazackerly. Have a look at this. So if you have a look here, there's no ribs up the bow of the boat, so they're finished just in front of the forward thwart. Okay, so that's one of the first ways that you can tell it's a Reg Fazackerly. The next way is to have a look underneath the forward thwart, and there you go, Reg Fazackerly, 1968. So she's just going to need a bit of a clean up. The hull is solid King Billy. Looks to me like somebody has cut out the transom here for an outboard so that you can get a short shaft on there. The hull is sound. Looks like somebody's put some anti-foul on her. We might scrub that right back. There you go. She was in the 2015 Wooden Boat Festival. That says 1966, which is actually incorrect. It's 1968 if you look under the thwart. Let's hook her up and take her home and start cleaning her up. In the last 2 months, we've done absolutely nothing to this boat except give it a good clean. We got all the dirt out of it, all the leaves out of it. This boat hasn't been in the water for about 2 years. So we anticipate when we splash her today that she's going to leak. So I took the floor out, which will help me identify if there's any major cracks. Old clinker dinghies like this need to be wet often. The wood swells, which creates the watertight seam between the planks. Very different to plywood, which is actually glued together. Boats like this are living. They need to be in the water often. We're at the Millbrook Rise boat ramp, which is about 30 kilometres north of Hobart, near New Norfolk. We've got a Wooden Boat Guild small boat day today.
Oh, has he got the bungs in?
Have you got the bungs in?
And we're going to be heading upstream to New Norfolk. Today we're going to be blending old world with new world. An old Tasmanian clinker dinghy with the ePropulsion Spirit Evo. You can see a couple of cracks in here. She's been in the water now for about 20-30 minutes, and there's a few litres in here, but nowhere near as bad as what she could be. Let's give this ePropulsion a workout. So quiet. Can you hear that sound? That's the water lapping on a clinker hull. Yep, and the motor's going, and you can still hear it. There's Joe on her links, Phil in his Cal 14, Des and Marley in scuppers, the Drascombe lugger, and up ahead we've got Kerry and Matt in an old Tasmanian Pinus punt, which is about 100 years old. There's a secret little river just in here. We're going to try and get up. but it looks like a tree's fallen over the entrance. Made it. That's New Norfolk, that's where we're headed. And the other boats are ahead of us because we made a detour down the little creek. How's that for a swing? Something else I really like about the ePropulsion is that all of the bolts and nuts on the leg are covered. You can see that there. That's silicon. Every single nut and bolt has been covered up with silicon. Now that's attention to detail. Another attention to detail is the plug on the cable has been soldered onto the cable at exactly the right point so that that little groove fits into the plug on the battery like that, so that there's no kinking. You don't have to twist the cable around, it just fits on perfectly. Good attention to detail. You'll also notice that the plugs are made from a very high quality steel, not plastic. Okay, I don't know, we've maybe put 10 buckets of water out of the boat so far, and we've been at sea now for 1 hour.
There's another bucket.
The throttle on the ePropulsion's fantastic. It's very smooth and immediate. Forward, reverse. It doesn't have a kick-up lever that you need to engage, so if you whack it into reverse, it's not going to flick up on you. This is a great little feature. If you want to put the tiller down, you just pull it out towards you and then it just folds down like this, which is really good for if you need to just put it out of the way like that. Now to take the battery off, it's very easy. You can do it with one hand, not a problem. Now the battery floats, I'm not going to throw it in the water. And to put the battery back on, it's just a simple matter of just dropping it down. You just drop the battery down like that.
Beautiful game of that.
Made it. I reckon probably maybe 15 buckets. If I motor along sort of on a bit of a list like this, less water comes in through that plank. Okay, let's have a look at some of the boats that have turned up for the day. This is Phil's Cal 14. Great little boat. Fiberglass, but we let him come along anyway. And this is an Outrad Acorn. Very cute little rowing dinghy. Then we've got Freddie B, which is an old Tasmanian Piners punt. Freddie B is about 100 years old. And then we've got Scuppers. Des, the new owner of Scuppers, has done a few things. Massive 9.9 on the back now. He's put this canopy on, and he's also put a tabernacle on, which will make it a lot easier for him putting the mast up. Obviously there's no wind today, so nobody's bought their rigs. We've got a scruffy marine shimmy. This is John and Maria's boat. Lovely little boat. John and Maria are very active members of the Wooden Boat Guild of Tasmania. They're always out with us. And then we've got Zach, our Fazackerly. Here comes something else. So we've just come up to this little barbecue area at New Norfolk for lunch. It's the rowdy members of the Wooden Boat Guild of Tasmania.
Salt pork and chip spread, or the modern equivalent of.
Lunch is consumed. We're heading back now.
You're gonna get wet feet though.
Yeah, that's all right. She's only filled to the waterline.
That's pretty good.
It's not too bad.
Chuck her in the water's right.
Yeah, thanks. There we go. Water speed app. I think what we love most of all about the electric outboard is the lack of noise and just the cleaner nature of an electric outboard compared to a combustion engine. There's no smell, there's no oil, there's no yearly annual servicing, there's no spark plugs to foul up. You just put the battery on it and it goes. Press a button and it goes. It's just so much easier. The other day we went up to Lake Peta with some friends of ours. We used the ePropulsion on the Navigator, and the friends of ours borrowed our Scamp, and they had a little 3 horsepower 2-stroke Yamaha. Had a little race. This is how it went.
1, 2, 3.
Flat out. All right.
Oh, the thing I think we'll get it to flaming speed.
All right.
Whoa! Ah, the serenity.
Oh, I think we're just pulling away. I reckon we're pulling away. Now I've just gone down to half speed and Richard's still at flat out power. I think he's pulling away just a little bit. One of the first issues that people are confronted with when buying an electric outboard is it's a bit like an electric car, is range. And you get this range anxiety thing. But there's ways to overcome that. You can always buy another battery pack, or you can install solar panels, or if you're in a sailing boat, you can just sail. If you're in a rowing boat, you can row. If you need to rely on the electric outboard 100%, I think there's ways around it. I think everybody that buys an electric outboard immediately understands the benefits over a petrol. It's just nothing better than being able to come up a beautiful river like this and enjoy it peacefully. Either rowing, sailing, or using an electric outboard. It's just... that's Phil. Hear that noise? It's like he's got a motorbike on the back of his boat. So ePropulsion sent us this motor for evaluation, and they're not getting it back. We really like it. We've also got a Toredo, and we think the ePropulsion's probably a little bit better than the Toredo for a few different reasons. Am I allowed to say that? We prefer the ePropulsion to the Toredo. So here we have a 56-year-old clinker-built Tasmanian dinghy, a very classic old school boat with basically the newest technology motor on the back, and it's a perfect match. So I've been using the water speed app today. You can see here that we launched at Millbrook and then we went up to Norfolk, and you can just see here where we went down the little creek, and this is all of our track. If we scroll down here, it tells us the average speed was 2 knots, maximum speed was 7 knots. The total distance was 3.4 nautical miles. And we were at sea for 1 hour, 41 minutes and 57 seconds. And we used, there you go, 14%. We used 14% to travel 3.4 nautical miles. So we had a boat full of water, and the Fazackerly is also quite a heavy dinghy. So the ePropulsion's done a great job. This has been a fun episode to make and a little bit wet. Stay salty.
Stay salty!
Thank you. This is a good race tactic. If you want to gain an advantage, what you do is you grab the other main sheet. And there's just nothing better than being able to listen to a car go past and drown you out.
Say something intelligent now.
No, you still got a bit to go.